Well, good morning, finally. We're back together. It's been a long 2 years, and during that 2 years, I got really used to COVID casual, and it was a little bit tough to put on this suit, but I did it just for you. You know, we're having our 35th tripartite, but it is our 37th anniversary from the time that we started the tripartite. And, you know, it's been an enduring meeting that has brought us together to find solutions to the problems we both face every day on the job sites, to do the best we can to understand the needs of our employers and our owner representatives, and to, you know, come to solutions that make sense. And I think that we've done a really good job of that. You know, we've also, besides this national tripartite, and this is part Southeast as well now, but we've also developed area tripartites and industry-specific tripartites. And we found really that they, you know, in the areas that they happen, they attract a whole lot more owners, and the problems of that particular area or that particular industry can be focused on. So we really do like the work that we're doing there. You know, the pandemic did derail a whole lot for us all. I know that we were, you know, we're under the gun with the closure of coal plants and having to transition. We'll get to talking about that. But you know, we went from about 22 million man hours in just right in what was it, 2019, and to 2020. You know, the bottom fell out. We got under 15 million in the United States. It's coming up. And we're happy about that, and we also have our shoulder to the wheel with our More Work Investment Fund to develop the new transitioned opportunities that we have to develop in order to keep our craft alive and be ready for what's coming. And we'll get to what's coming in a few minutes. Now, you know, we took a lot of actions during the start of the pandemic. We, you know, voluntarily cut our wages. We asked the staff for 25% cut as well. We you know, stopped our conferences. We sent people home to work so they'd be safe. It was a very uncertain time, but in it, and we, you know, eventually we had our convention. Excuse me. And that convention was a virtual convention from Washington, D.C., from the same studio that the NFL draft holds their television event. But we've actually, over that period between the savings of not having conferences, the unfortunate cuts which we finally gave back in 2021, and the convention, which is normally in the $7 million range, we actually saved or did not spend close to $20 million. So, you know, we're really in a good financial position today, along with, you know, the income that we have coming from our More Work Investment Fund. But if we could roll up a little bit. So we have a very healthy pension program. It's nearly $8 billion. It's about 7.5 at this point, but depending on the market, it goes up and down. But it's in the green zone. It's in the green zone now. Our trustees have worked hard to keep that plan healthy and alive. We've had some ups and downs, but it's in good shape. You should know that. We have a nearly $1.2 billion national health and welfare plan, and it has not had a contribution increase from the contractor or the members for 12 years. 12 years. And from the organization that we did through my collaboration with the trustees, we have saved over $900 million in that 12 years. We're doing something right. We also have a $1.2 billion national annuity. It's sound, it's growing, it's a good lump of cash. When the guys decide to retire, they can borrow a little bit from it when they need it, but it's a great plan. And our officers and employees pension plan is similarly healthy. I think we're doing pretty damn good. We're preparing to build a new headquarters in Kansas City and a museum. We have other plans besides that, but we've been working on it. I worked on it all pandemic, doing the workflow of the office and so on. We sold the building, our headquarters building, some few years ago. The pandemic derailed us on that, of course, but we're working on it. And I'd like to show you the current site plan. So if you could put that up on the screen, you can see that there's the office space is built out, so that'll be the headquarters. And then over to the left side or top side is a white shell. We haven't built, we haven't designed that yet, but I didn't want a Taco Bell sitting there because that's kind of the entertainment area, so we bought that piece of land, and we're going to build that museum right there, and then we can take people to the museum and show them, or our members or the public can come up in the parking area. They can come in and see what Boilermakers history is all about. Did we have another version where you, yeah. Currently, this outside portion, not the very outside there, but the other portion is just an outdoor patio, concrete patio. We've got to change that a little bit, but we're going to enclose it because we need the space. Put a kitchen there. It'll have seating for our staff for lunch, and it will have in the center there the all-important Boilermaker bar. And part of the reason for that is because we want to hold receptions there, and we want to be able to entertain our apprentices there when they come by, or so there's executive seating area, and the rest of it, down below is all office space. I won't bore you with that, but we did a lot of work on that. So, so we got a lot going. Of course, we've still got issues with the transition of our construction work. We're addressing that largely with our More Work Investment Fund. We set about that in 2018, and I think it's a damn good thing that we did. Bill tells me right now we're taking in around $17 million a year to apply to the transition, as our man hours go up, because it's $1 an hour coming from the men, that will grow. And so we have a lot of activities that we've developed for our More Work Investment Fund. So state legislative strategies. Really, this was started by Tom Baca and Robbie Hunter. They are the ones that spearheaded the whole legislative SB 54 out in California. They won. And now that's roughly 3 million more man-hours for Boilermakers alone, not to mention the other crafts. And of course, some of it's down because of the pandemic, but the man-hours are there. Excuse me. And so, you know, if you think about how much money was put into that, there wasn't that much. I mean, it was less than $1 million, wasn't it, Tom? But you think about how much money you got back from that, and that you're going to get back each year in the form of wages and benefits and dues, and it's enormous. It's really over 1,000% return in the first year. We signed up 31 new contractors. We brought in, I think, about 1,800 members, Tom, if I'm right? Yeah. You know, at the same time, we're losing work, but we've got to fight to get to the work that we can still have. We have work recovery strategies, work recovery agreements, and then we have our job targeting program. Job targeting has produced over 1 million man-hours since we started that, and it's man-hours in work that we just had no chance for. There wasn't any way to get that work. It was already non-union, but now we're getting that work. You know, our target is about 3 million man-hours a year for that program. Maybe that'll change as we go. We've got a ways to go. We need to use it more, and we need our contractors to use it more. You know, you know, we got to keep Boilermakers alive because there's a lot of work coming. So we've got recruitment strategies in place. Very important for our contractors and our owners and our own health as an organization. We've got an online system set up, and we're getting some, but you got to have work to put people on when you recruit them. So, you know, we're going at, you know, we're taking things as they go. The boot camp training strategy. You know, we can't do everything just through the apprenticeship. And there are opportunities for us to do a very focused effort in weld training for some of our members and some of our recruits. We've got that going in a number of areas, and it's working really, really great. Matter of fact, Jeff, who heads it up, is up in, what camp is that? Fort Benning, right now. We're building a training school there. They gave us the building. The people transition out through Fort Benning, but it takes about 6 months. So they've got a place to live. The military is going to give us access to them. They're not doing much otherwise, and then they go out, but at least they've gotten to know the Boilermakers, and maybe we have a good opportunity to recruit. Again, you know, the pandemic slowed us down there, but now we're back at it. We have and you're going to hear this morning, I missed one. The marketing strategies. We have marketing strategies to get our name out there, to get our message out there. You know, the environmentalists, they're on the airwaves, the sound waves, and you know, keep it in the ground. Keep it in the ground. That's all anybody knows anymore. We're going to get to that. We're also focusing on climate change policies and strategies. You'll hear that one this morning. But it's very important for us to be in that debate. We're on the world stage with that debate. Corey Shannon is my director of climate change policy solutions. But this is what MORE has allowed us to build, More Work Investment Fund. We have our Women at Work strategy. Now, that's very important because, there are a lot of women that want to go to work. Who the hell do you think built the Liberty ships? And it wasn't just men. A lot of men were out at war. Women can do this work. So the More Work strategies are transitioning to new man hours and new industries for us, even while we continue to lose traditional work opportunities. Coal continues to turn down, but I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. But anyway, with all of the investments that we're making, both in the legislative and the job targeting and the other initiatives, the investment fund is returning over 1,000%. And we can, I think Tim, where's Tim? Tim, you going to put a few numbers up there about what kind of return we're going to get? That's tomorrow, right? Yeah. So all of this, these strategies are tools for surviving, this unprecedented transformation. It's going to be ongoing. It's going to be a long process. We have to have a voice in it. We have to put some shoulder to the wheel to get our points across. We started talking about CCUS and so on back in 2008. And we tried to get the Obama administration don't go that fast, bring it back down. We tried to get the Obama administration to invest in CCUS technology. Well, they invested in wind and solar to the tune of $150 billion. Okay, $150 billion in wind and solar, and they got 1% return on their investment. 1% renewable gain out of that $150 billion, put about $40 million in CCUS research and development, and then he waylaid about 20 of that million and didn't let it spend. Like I say, we've been advocating this since 2008, and I want to ask you a question. If you're out in the middle of the sea in a boat, and the boat develops a bunch of holes, and you're heading down to the bottom of the sea, are you going to try to build a better boat out there in the middle of the sea, or are you going to plug the damn holes and get the thing back to shore and think it through? What kind of boat you're going to build? They're trying to build a new boat while the Earth is the problem. Is the boat, and the smokestacks are the holes. Let's figure out how to get those holes plugged. There's 84% of fossil fuel generation in the power industry in the world. 84% of it is done by fossil fuels. And that doesn't even count the cement kilns and the steel mills and the other industries that also emit CO2. So, there has to be some sensibility about how we go about this, not just, the keep it in the ground crap. We understand, climate change solutions, better than the enviros. And so I want to show you something we developed for the COP conference. We did it a little quickly, but I think it tells you another part of the story that we all need to see. So if you'll run that Keep It in the Ground film.
It is important to the overall climate discussion that we consider realistic and pragmatic points of view and solutions. Alarmism.
Before a panel could begin outlining climate change solutions in the fossil fuel industry, protesters interrupted.
Energy innovation and fossil fuels will continue to play a lead role.
But what they don't know is that their so-called solutions to fossil fuel, wind, batteries, solar, all these climate change solutions depend on resources from the ground. Electric cars run from batteries made from minerals: cobalt, lithium, manganese, graphite. All are necessary for batteries. All come from the ground. Switch to solar? Silicon, aluminum, quartz, copper. All are necessary for solar cells. All come from the ground. Power up with wind? Cement, plastics from petroleum byproducts, iron. All are necessary for wind turbines. All come from the ground. Clean energy? It all comes from the ground. And it comes at a high price to the environment, natural resources, communities, and the most vulnerable, children. Children as young as 7 years old work in quartz mines. Quartz is a component in solar panels. The atrocities of child labor in cobalt mines has been well documented. And yet, the demand soars for cobalt for batteries. The elements coming from the ground for so-called green solutions are sometimes coming out on the backs of children. Keep it in the ground? It's not so simple. It's naive, and it's hypocritical. Stop the rhetoric. Stop the mindless chanting, and let's start working on real solutions together. Let's put it in the ground and build a bridge to a clean energy future. www.cleanerfuturecccus.org.
So really, how green is that? The environmental propaganda, the misinformation is just off the charts. We have to be able to counter it. And then they do this one little trick with their arguments, and it's not about the climate anymore, it's about coal, because they don't like coal. Now I know, gas got cheaper than coal and so on, but gas on the international market has gone up 700%. So, you better think about what might happen here. But the environmentalists, they'll mix their arguments, between we got to fix the climate, but they don't want to hear about CCUS. They'll take the International Energy Agency report, and then they'll cherry pick through it to get away from CCUS. As a matter of fact, California just tried to outlaw CCUS. I mean, how dumb is that? Now they're keeping their nuclear unit online, and they rely on all this energy from outside the state, and it's sometimes you got to give your head a shake. When we were required to, in building our coal units or maintaining them, we installed precipitators. Those help clean up emissions. Then we started installing bag houses, cleaning up emissions even more. Recently, we installed scrubbers, and now you're looking at maybe 95% of the particulate matter is cleaned out. They've got problems. You got some fly ash, you got some mercury, and you got the CO2. Okay. But if you had CCUS, you could solve the CO2 problem. If we had invested $150 billion into CCUS research and development back in 2008, instead of in wind and solar, we probably could have done a hell of a lot better job in cleaning up the emissions around the world. So pass that one up. Honestly, to focus only on wind and solar and batteries as a solution to climate change is just plain nuts. We gotta focus on development of and deployment of CCUS and hydrogen going forward. We gotta do what we can with nuclear. If they come back to that, you're going to probably see more and more desalination plants. If you look around, at our rivers and our reservoirs and those over in Europe, we've got some serious problems. For the life of me, I don't know why we don't harvest some of the water that's going out to the sea from our rivers, and build a pipeline, run it between the power lines, and get it to where it needs to be. You don't have to harvest that much of it, but you could really use that water better, I think. Roll back up. No, pass up that one. And now you really got to think about what's happening in Europe. You've got Germany now starting up their coal plants again. They shut down most of their nuclears. They got nukes. They got, I think, 3 left. I don't know what they're doing with those, but they did have them slated to close until Vladimir Putin decided to become Vladimir the Great, and he's into Ukraine and rocking the world economy, and in Germany, they might as well have put a needle in their arm and given themselves over to Putin when they got hooked on his gas. But we don't want to get to that point as a country. We have to think strategically, and if we're going to focus on batteries, battery technology, you better start thinking about where it comes from, because it comes largely from China, from Russia, and Africa. Now, there might be some other nations that have some, but if you want to get your economy all hooked up on, with the, import of rare earth minerals to our country from China and Russia, I don't think that's a very good strategy. Recently, the Biden administration put together the infrastructure bill and the Inflation Reduction Act. That is going to bring us, all of us, a whole lot of work. We're going to, we're seeing a focus on the shift to CCUS, and to hydrogen, nuclear, desalinization. But all crafts have so many work opportunities that manpower is going to be a real issue. And we understand that. But like I say, we've got to have the work to recruit the people. So we've got to do a little better in how we're managing the people we do have. And so we hope to build a strategic alliance with our friends, the ironworker craft. With this alliance, though it's in its infancy, we're just starting these discussions, we're going to focus on coordinating our skilled craftsmen, and our focus is to get your work done on time and without any problems. Now, you know, we're going to have to start up again after this pandemic. There's going to be a whole lot of work come all at once, but you know, we think that we've gotten ourselves pretty close to ready. Now, as you can see, I've asked Eric and Bill to be here. Ron was unable to come, and we're going to begin those discussions. Actually, we have a meeting tomorrow. I don't know when you want to, you know, go have a sarsaparilla and start a conversation. So just as we, the Boilermakers, have, the ironworkers have proven to be a strategic and critical craft. You know, just look at the bridges and high-rise buildings they've built over their 126-year history. You know, they're amazing craft. I could say more, but I've got to end here because we do have a pretty full agenda. We've got a lot of good presentations. I think we've put together a great tripartite for you. So I want to let you know it's great to be back with you.